This is my 1996 Honda Civic EJ9, and all in all, I think it's in great condition. It drives pretty well, and barring a few little exterior marks and age-related blemishes, it also looks pretty good. The issue, however, is inside the car. Let me show you what I mean. Right, so as you can see, it's absolutely grim in here, hence why I'm sat on a curtain from the 1970s. Now, I'm quite ashamed it's gotten to this level, but to stop it from happening to me in the future or to one of you guys, I think there's a few reasons why it's ended up in this state to begin with. And the first of which is just neglect. I treated this thing like it was a van when it was my daily driver, so parts, supplies, rubbish, all just sort of got chucked in the back and left there. So right off the bat, that's a pretty bad move. Secondly, I think moisture has quite a lot to do with this, especially for all the mold that's developed in here. It's rained now for about the last 18 years straight here, so some of that might be making its way into the car and then just sort of promoting an environment in which mold grows. If you recall a few months ago, I took this thing out in the snow. I did some photography, videoed it, left the windows down, got the seats nice and wet, had a grand old time, and then I parked it up and left it. So that's probably why I now have Stranger Things upside down in the inside of my car. Now, instead of moping around, we're going to do something about it. And the first thing on the agenda, before it starts raining hopefully, is to empty the car of everything. So all the rubbish, all the car parts, we're going to take the seats out, take the plastic trims out, and also take the carpet out. So hopefully we should have a nice clean shell, and I can make sure there's no mold spores that are going to come back in a week's time and just do the same thing again. Now, because we're working with mold here, and whilst you don't have to, some people won't, I don't really want to be breathing in any of those airborne particles and spores, so we're going to be using a respirator. I've also got gloves on as well. Again, you don't really have to. Some people won't. I do, because at the moment, I really value my health. Oh, now's probably a good time to mention, I bought an exhaust. Oh God, there's so much stuff in here. We're going to need some music. So I've just emptied out all the rubbish and my stuff out of the car. I found a couple of things to show you. If you're squeamish, definitely look away now. I found a pair of socks. Yeah, look at that. I'm sure they're still good to wear. And worst of all, someone left a sausage roll in my car. Anybody fancy it? Ugh. Back to it. Oh, well, that's going to do it for today. We've made some pretty good progress, but it's just getting way too dark out there. Fortunately, it didn't rain, so that's a silver lining. But yeah, it's just too dark to do anything. Even with a light, there's no point carrying on. Yeah, we made some pretty good progress today. Door cards and carpet, I think that's the only two things that still need to come out. Didn't really find much treasure. I found a gold Pikachu Pokemon token, so that's pretty cool, and 15 pence. So, not much. I was hoping I'd come across like a crisp £10 note or at least some parking money, but it looks like there'll be no modifications for me. Anyways, I'm going to pick it up when we've got another dry day. Probably not tomorrow, because it's probably due to rain for like the next 7 days straight, but yeah, I'm pleased with the progress we made today. I'll see you in the next bit. Alright, it's day 2, we're back in the Petri dish, and it looks a little bit better in here. There's nothing in the back, there's no side trims, there's still kick plate covers, whatever you want to call them, they're gone. I think I'm going to leave the top half of stuff in. I think I can treat it where it is, and I'm not too concerned about a mould being hidden behind the top half, but the door cards still need to come off, the seatbelts need to come out, and most importantly, the main goal I've got for today is to get rid of this disgusting carpet. So let's rip it out, and then we'll be in a much better place. That's grim. If I'm honest, I normally don't like taking door cards off, because I find once you take them off, they never seem to go on just how they were. They're never quite as good as factory. So I'm hoping Civics are a little bit different. I'm hoping I can pop it off, don't do any damage to the clips, don't break any of the tabs, and then we can put it back on afterwards, and nobody's any the wiser. But let's see. Should have probably Googled how to do this. Instead, I think I'm just going to risk it. Yeah. As you probably saw, it was getting quite dark the other night, but I did manage to get the carpet out in the end. It was a little bit more fiddly than I anticipated, and I did have to cut some of the bits. You don't have to do it in order to remove the carpet. I just didn't feel like removing what I think is an airbag module, so I took a little Stanley blade and I made some slits towards the firewall end. It's not really the end of the world because the trim covers them up, and I can always patch them up afterwards, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it, and I just wanted the carpet out because it was getting way too dark, way too cold, and I just wanted done with it. But now we've got no carpet. I'm left with another problem. This factory sound deadening here, it looks pretty decent on the surface, but the other day I realised there's a couple of areas where when I'm standing on it, there's quite a few crunching noises, and Civics are known for having holes in the floor. So I think I'm now going to rip up all the factory sound deadening, and this is just a prime example of how things snowball. I had absolutely no plans of this, I'd not even thought of taking the sound deadening out, but now I've bought sound deadening. So this black stuff is going to come out, and no, I'm not using dry ice because I refuse to pay ridiculous amounts for frozen water. So I'm just going to use a hammer and chisel. It's going to take a while, it's going to be noisy, but at least I can check if I've got holes in my floor. So let's annoy the neighbours and let's crack on. You know when you start doing something and then very shortly after you get these thoughts pop into your head like, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And is this a mistake? Yeah, I started to think that very shortly after embarking on this. First of all, I completely underestimated just how noisy it is. The neighbourhood definitely hates me. Dogs have been barking for hours because essentially I've just been beating the devil out of a steel drum. It echoes terribly around here, so my apologies, neighbours. Also, it's incredibly messy. I took my gloves off because it was starting to, or the gloves were starting to irritate my hands a little bit, and I kind of regret that because I've now got, I don't know how to describe it, it's like road tar just sort of stuck in me. So hopefully I'll be able to stick to walls like Spider-Man will, but it's all out and there is so much of it, like just tons and tons of this stuff. So I think I'm going to empty it out and weigh it. Now, the reason I did this was because I had suspicions of rust. Let me clean up and then I'll show you something. Okay, for starters, we've got this little grommet hole here. Now, to be honest, this isn't too bad. I'm just probably going to drill this hole out a bit bigger and then just sand this down. So that one should be fine. I also found this little split down here, so that's where the seam sealers come away. I don't think it's too bad. I'm hoping I'll be able to strip that back and then just put some new seam sealer across. There's also some little corrosion down here, but again, I don't think that's gone all the way through, so it's not too much of an issue. It is the same on the other side as well. And then we start to get to the problem areas. Now, that, to my knowledge, is just on the surface. It hasn't gone through. I'm going to clean it up and obviously treat it and check it fully, but I don't think that's a problem at the moment. The issue we've got is on the driver's side. As you can see, I've got a hole. So just looking at it, obviously this bit's gone through. It's quite damp around here, so I expect everywhere up to about possibly this line here through to there. So once I've cleaned it all up, it's probably going to be about the size of an apple. I mean, this is quite squidgy here, so I don't know. Possibly anywhere within this sort of size. I'm going to check underside as well, but that's not good. Now, whilst you can bond a sheet of metal in just by, like, you know, cutting the metal out to size and then bonding it on with adhesive or seam sealer or something, that's not the proper way to do things, and that patch is going to need welding. My welding expertise is probably not that good. I've probably done about 2 hours of MIG welding in my life. On 2 of those occasions, I blew holes in things, so I don't know if I trust myself with this one, but I think I'm going to get the wire wheel out on the grinder or the drill, strip it back, see the extent of the damage, and then form a plan. Yeah, back to the drawing board on this one. None of this would have happened if I just left it all alone. Kind of. Well, it's definitely worse than it looked initially. I know I had to do that, but stripping it back to find more rust is just devastating. Take a look. And that's how big it is now. So this whole area is pretty much toast. There's also some holes here. Sick. So I suspect that runs pretty much where I've marked it on this line is what I think the extent of the damage is, and then just all the way down that top side as well. Yeah. Like I say, back to the drawing board on this one. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to do it properly. Or at least my version of proper. So, yeah. To the forums I go.